Today I'm going to go into detail about the rebrand that my business went through. I wasn't always Normal Not Found. I was originally founded as a different business name. So I'm going to go into that, why I changed it, and the process of coming up with the name and the logo that you see now. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to detail the reasoning behind the rebrand that I did for Normal Not Found. I didn't always start as Normal Not Found. I was originally Little House of Crafting. I knew that I needed to switch my focus from general crafting to geeky buttons because I've really enjoyed working with geeky customers the most. I'm a geek. I have a geeky venture. I have a heart for those that have geeky ventures, and I wanted to make sure that I would be able to give you the attention that you deserve. And I knew that by rebranding, I would be able to do that both personally and professionally. It took me 6 months to come up with the name and then make the logo. I didn't just do this on a whim. I put a lot of time and tears and many brain dumps and journaling sessions to really examine what it is that geeks are all about and how best that I can serve you. I considered Nerdy Matter for a while, but the name never really fit. I mean, the phrase fecal matter kept just showing up in my brain, and it didn't work. It seemed too product focused, and I was afraid that it was going to be confused with Nerdy Matters, like somebody would have that name as a geeky newsletter about news or something like that. So I wanted to steer away from that, and eventually one day Normal Not Found came to me after I was looking at different geeky phrases and geeky things that we're all familiar with. The 404 error not found error that we're all familiar with was the thing that really brought that to life. I believe error not found is already taken. I think it's a podcast, and the reason why I worked with Normal Not Found is because in a way we're all abnormal. We all have this geeky like that we're just obsessed with. And I'm going to talk about this in a different upcoming video that I'm really excited about, but you'll see more about that later. And I really wanted to have my rebrand focus on the heart of what it is to be a geek and what it is to have a geeky venture. And Normal Not Found really seemed to fit. It fit me personally. I'm sure it fits you personally as geek and your geeky venture as well, because most of what we do as geeks in our geeky ventures, they're not normal at all whatsoever. So here's a bonus Nerdy Matter logo that I came up with, and I really don't like it, but I threw it in there just so that you could see it and see the dark days. As far as the Normal Not Found logo goes, here is the finished product, but it wasn't always smooth sailing. I want to go into that a little bit. I started with a word association to look at familiar geeky likes. I researched things that were popular, and then I did a mind map based on how I differed from my competitors, my brand strengths, the aesthetics of what the logo could contain, and I kind of threw that all in there and did some brainstorming, and then once I felt that I had it narrowed it down and I could start getting visuals, then I started putting things on paper. I wrote these things down: the clientele, competition, company values, aesthetics, and strengths, just to keep the blank page syndrome away from me, and then I just kind of brain dumped everything that I could think of. I looked at the initials of Normal Not Found, making it into a heartbeat. I got the brain and the spectacles out of my system because that's all over the internet as far as geeky ventures go. I just got it out of my system. I got it done. I even did normal not found as a superhero syndrome here just to get it out. Part of the brainstorming process that I do is just to get everything out, even if I know that I'm not going to use it. I want to cover all bases, and I don't want to make any energy still stay inside me. And eventually I got down to the error portion, and I went through a bunch. There's the triangle with the exclamation point, there's a bunch of X's, there's the power symbol, there's capitalized, not capitalized. I even did the big triangle with exclamation point in it, and it just wasn't working. It really wasn't until eventually I came up with the magnifying glass. And I'm going to get philosophical here. I'm sorry, but part of being a geek is the constant urge to discover new things. I mean, seriously, why do we watch all the shows that we watch? Why do they come out with so many sci-fi shows, so many fantasy shows, so much shows about magic and space and aliens? And we want to discover things that aren't normal and that you don't normally see. And the magnifying glass is a tool to do that. I mean, hello, Sherlock Holmes. And then I wanted to keep the exclamation point in there. So I put it in the middle, and it goes back to my precious Pokemon games and other video games that I played where if something happened, a speech bubble would pop up. And then we have colors and iterations. I'm sorry for blinding you with this one. And I decided to have the color only be the exclamation point. And it's the color also used in video games, so I wanted to harken to that too. And as far as application goes, I made two different versions. I knew I needed to have a vertical squished one that would be able to go on packaging that I make myself. So I went with the logo and normal on top, and then not found on the bottom to follow it up. And then for business cards, being horizontal is your friend. So I made an iteration of that with the logo on the left and then the name following it, and you'll see different variations on the different social media sites that I'm on. And then after that, it's the boring DBA stuff and changing everything with the IRS. But if you're interested, you can go on the case study and look at that. So now you have a better idea of why I changed my business name and the focus. In doing this, I'm better able to serve you, your purpose, your goals, and I'm able to delight your geeky likes along the way. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or send me a tweet. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.